Hey Fit Fam, welcome to Life Beyond Your Finish Line. I'm your host, Orlandina Ballin, aka The Fitter Woman. I'm a women's physique pro with the International Federation of Bodybuilding. I'm an educator, I'm a motivator, and the people's holistic lifestyle coach. Today's guest, Ian Highsmith, is living proof that it's never too late to turn your life around. From running while addicted to running towards purpose, Ian has gone from homelessness to addiction to chasing one of the world's greatest endurance achievement, the Abbott World Marathon Majors. He's now a coach and the voice behind a podcast that inspires others to choose a new path, 1 mile at a time. Welcome to the studio, Ian.
Thank
It's
you
such
for
a
having
pleasure
me.
to have you.
That was beyond a great intro.
Thank you.
How did you do that?
I sat
Where did you
down.
get that information from?
Listen, I spoke to you and then I did some digging of my own. I watch your podcast.
No one knows all that stuff.
I
Gosh,
did. I did some digging.
man.
I did my homework.
All right.
My viewers know, my listeners know, I love to do homework.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Last night, I couldn't even sleep. I'm tossing and turning, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm ready to rock and roll.
You ready to rock?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. When did you first fall in love with running? Because you're now an ultra runner. I had to look up what that meant, by the way.
Okay.
An
yes.
ultra runner versus a marathon runner.
Okay.
Then I saw that there was a difference between the two.
There's a
And
difference.
there's a difference. So can you please tell our listeners what's the difference between an ultra runner and a marathon runner?
Okay, a marathon runner is someone who competed in an event of 26 miles or 42 kilometers. All right, an ultra runner is someone who's competed in a distance of 50K, which is 31 miles. I'm an ultra runner, baby.
He's an ultra runner. Ultra. So when did you first fall in love with running?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So I ran in high school. Now, I was a 3-time gold medalist in the 200, 400, and 800.
Wow.
And it was something about getting on that line and competing with others. Whether you're in my school or another school, I just love the competition.
I love that. And because I'm like, it's really hard for people to run. I did like a little bit of running, but not like you. Like I ran to stay fit. It's part of my conditioning for bodybuilding, but nowhere what you've done. So I find it amazing.
Thank you.
And you've been so honest. Whenever you watch his podcast, the Ian Running podcast, tune in. You got to check him out on YouTube. You've been really honest about starting drugs in high school.
Yeah.
What pulled you into that world so that our listeners know what to look out for themselves and what to look out for in their own children?
Yeah, I was immature, young kid. I said I was a 3-time gold medalist, which I was, but I was walking to track meet high under the influence of marijuana. That's just what I did. And it didn't stop. And I tell people now, you have an option. You can get fit, get healthy, put more years on the earth, and have more time with your family. I'm going to choose that option every time. But there was a time I didn't think like that. And I know we're going to talk more about that in my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think, and I think it's really big for you to say that word, you have a choice. A lot of people feel like they don't have choices in life and they're kind of forced into certain situations. But as you said, it is a choice. And we'll get back into that a little bit later. When did you realize that your addictive personality was driving those choices?
Let me tell you something. Track practice. I'm going to go to track practice, every track practice. I'm going to run after track practice because I want to be the best. And you know what? When it's the weekend time, I'm going to smoke more weed than anybody. I'm going to drink more alcohol than anybody. I have, some people call it the isms. I have to do it to the extreme. And unfortunately, it was my downfall. And I know we're going to talk more about that, but I have an addictive personality. As you see, I've been running for over 20 years. I've been running since high school, which was many, many years ago. And I'm still running today. In fact, I ran from, if you guys know the area, I ran from Hofstra University to Central Park. 21 miles today, and I woke up, I believe, 1 a.m. I ran at 2 o'clock, and I was a 4 hour run. I ran about 11:50 a mile,
Wow. Wow.
and I love it.
Everybody else was sleeping at 1 a.m. Ian is up and getting himself ready for his run.
Yeah,
You know, sometimes people view an addictive or an obsessive personality in a negative way. It can be seen as a negative, and we know that. But to have an obsession or to be addicted to something in a positive way is also something to be considered. What do you think about that? Do you feel that that obsession has now led to this desire to run these long distances?
yeah. I would say my addictive personality. Every milestone, I get obsessed.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not where I want to be. So 21st birthday, oh, I gotta do better. I gotta do something to be the man that I know I can be.
Mm.
And it all started, or I maintained my fitness with the gym. 25 years old, I gotta get my ish together. And that's when I started to increase my distance running.
Mm.
All right. I started entering 5Ks, half marathoners, and that addictive personality just kept me driving,
Mm.
and wanting more, all the way up to a marathoner.
That is
So
amazing.
when it comes to addictive personality, it can be good in some ways.
Mhm.
But again, while I was running, while I'm signing up for 5Ks, while I'm running half marathoners, I'm on my 10th mile contemplating on smoking a cigarette.
Mm.
And there's something I need to be studied.
Because to take that to take that addictive personality and go in one, it's like you're going positive and unknown at the same time with that personality.
Agree 100%.
So at some point, as you were getting older, you decided to join the military. What was that like, and how did it shift when you were discharged?
I joined the military. I was in the army. I was stationed in Germany, and still running. it's
Yeah.
I I ran my entire life, but it was a little bit different because I was stationed in Germany. I'm running up the mountains,
Mm.
and it was you had to have some discipline in taking authorities and following the chain of command, and it makes sense. But at that time, I wasn't mature at all.
Mm. So you're
It,
maturing,
I'm definitely
maturing.
maturing. If you ask me to go back in the military or what I would do with this brain in the
Hmm.
military now, I'll take over the whole military in
Mm.
a positive way.
In a positive way. I like that.
100%.
So, can you talk about at what point when you hit rock bottom? Because you always hear that story about I hit rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom, you found yourself in a shelter. How did that begin to
How you
change?
know that?
Listen, I told you I did my homework.
In a
So,
shelter.
in a shelter,
Oh, I've been there.
you know, and can you
Hmm.
explain what that experience was like?
Of
Because you
course.
said something
Yeah.
you said something interesting.
Hmm.
You said I always thought that the shelter was just full of drug addicts and
Drug addicts.
bums and things like
Bums.
that, but you found out otherwise. People don't realize that shelters are also filled with people who've just fallen on hard times and
100%.
families with children. They're not
Hmm.
all bums. Can you explain how that began to change your
Of
experience?
course. And so like I said, I ran my entire life. So as I'm training for a half marathon, I injured my leg. Um, Me being immature, me using money only for my apartment and weed and alcohol. I had no money saved. So when I was injured and working as a personal trainer, I was unable to have income, unable to have pay rent, forced in a shelter. So I'm in a shelter with a torn Achilles tendon, and like you said, my thought process on who lived in the shelter was crackheads, bums,
Mhm.
and gangsters. But then I'm here with the long hair and the six pack, and I say, hey, I don't belong here, or do I? From that day forward, I knew not to judge a book by its cover. Because when you look at me there, you can't say, oh, he's a cracker, he's a bum. I'm neither of those things. But like you said, I fell on hard times. And it's such a
Yes.
humbling experience. And I'm glad that I went through that and had that up here to develop the man that sits here with you now, getting interviewed.
I love that. That's so good. I'm gonna. I know we're. Oh my God, this interview is so good. So I just want to say, I'm sorry.
take your
I'm
time.
sorry. There we go. You're listening to Life Beyond the Finish Line on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHBC. I'm Orlandina Ballin, aka the Fitter Woman, and today we're talking about redemption, recovery, and resilience
Oh yeah.
with ultra runner and podcast host Ian Smith. So let's talk about the shift.
Okay.
Even in addiction, even while you were in under the addiction,
Mm-hmm.
you kept running. What made you stay consistent? Because a lot of times you hear people lives fall apart, like
Mm-hmm.
everything that they were, they no longer are,
Mm-hmm.
while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Why did running stay so close to you?
So running is therapeutic. I had so much of the honest and real conversations while running with strangers. It's a difference between sitting at Starbucks or sitting at a bar talking to someone, trying to charm someone or put up this facade of who you are. But when you're sitting, excuse me, when you're standing and running with a stranger and you both are going through the mental hurdles of can I do it, can I not? You just go straight to realness. Within 30, excuse me, within 10 to 15 minutes, we're already talking about death of our loved ones, talking about income problems, family members that moved in the house, family members that moved out of the house, 5-year plans, and just being real.
Mm.
Running is very therapeutic. So while I'm in the shelter nursing my leg, and I'm sitting there, I'm putting, it was a torn Achilles tendon, I'm putting marbles into a cup. And I'm just learning how to walk again. And I told myself, as I'm doing my calf extensions on my cot with 4 other gentlemen, we call them gentlemen,
Yeah.
it's living in the same room as me. And I'm just exercising my Achilles tendon, knowing that someday I'm going to walk. And why am I going to stop at walking? I'm going to run. Why am I going to stop at running? I'm going to enter a 5K, a 10K, and a half marathon. And I have these medals here for
Yes.
marathons that I've done. The New York City Marathon here, the London Marathon here, Chicago Marathon here. And I knew while sitting in that room with strangers that I will have these medals. I claimed it. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, you have to claim it. And I'm sitting here now and I wish I did this, got my life together 20 years ago. But I was listening to a podcast, whatever podcast it was, and he said the best time to get your life together was 20 years ago, and the next time
Is now.
is right now.
That's right.
And I'm getting it together. And I
And
love the journey.
And I'm loving this journey because a lot of people have undergone the same journey as you and they didn't have it together 20 years ago. They're just getting it together today. And to see you as a walking, talking, living testament of you can get your life together. It's not always going to be easy. Matter of fact, it's going to be hard. And you're going
Yeah,
to
it's
meet
gonna be
like
hard.
minded people on that journey that are going to keep you motivated. So, I'm happy to have you here. And
Oh
yes,
yeah.
I'm happy to have you here so that you can share that story. Um, when you decided to start training for the New York City Marathon, it was a big turning point for you. What was going through your mind when you decided to quit? You quit all your addictions cold turkey,
Everything.
which is like unheard of. How did you do that?
First of all, I tried to stop over 400 times. So this New York City Marathon, me stopping wasn't, hey, this is my first stop. Time to
Ah,
stop. No. Having trouble with my finances, losing great friendship, losing loved ones, um, losing shelter was not enough for me to stop doing drugs and drinking. Can you believe that?
wow.
You would think that would be the reason to stop, but it wasn't for me. I need to be studied. It wasn't for me. So with me training for 5Ks, 10Ks, and remember I told you on mile 10 I'm thinking about a cigarette, but I knew to do a distance double the half marathon, which a half marathon is 13 miles, the New York City Marathon is 26. I said, there's no way I could do anything. There's no way I could drink,
Yeah.
smoke, and think I'm going to train for a marathon. And just because of that, I stopped. And I'm sitting, and let me tell you something. I stopped before. When I stopped before, it's for a month, 2 months. I need you to know every year of my life for over 20 years, I'm doing some type of drug yearly. So I never stopped longer than a year. But when I stopped for the New York City Marathon, I could smell different.
Mm.
I can taste different. Doors that were in front of me for years, I can see different. I didn't have a degree. I didn't have a high school diploma. I had a GED. But as I got sober, I said, hold on, I can go back to school. I decided to go back to school. And before this, I knew for certain I can't read well. I can't study well. I got sober and I realized I'm an index card learner. I have my index card here. I have my MacBook here. I have my iPad here. And I have a 4.0 GPA as we speak. I never had a 4.0 GPA, and it's such a blessing. I got sober, and smoking weed and drinking alcohol and rolling dice every weekend wasn't enough for me.
Mm.
I said, you know what? I gotta leave the country. I was in my 30s without a passport. Yes, I said I lived in Germany, but when you're in the military, you don't need a passport because it's orders. Hey, you got to go there. You don't need a passport. So I got sober and said, I got to leave the country. And I signed up for the London Marathon.
Look at that.
And when it comes to addictive personality, this is very funny. I said I signed up for the London Marathon, but I never completed a marathon. So as I'm training for the New York City Marathon,
You already setting up.
I say, oh no, I gotta sign up for the London Marathon. Didn't even complete a marathon. And when I finished the New York, and while I'm running the New York City Marathon on mile 23.
I remember I was listening to the podcast. You were like, I didn't know what pain was.
I didn't know what pain.
Until I experienced the pain of going through this marathon.
I didn't know, and I regret signing up. I said, why did I sign up for London? Until I crossed the finish line, I said, I'm going to London, man.
You know what? This idea of clarity. That's what it was. You had an experience clarity.
Woo!
When you removed the drugs, the alcohol, you removed the negativity around you, you were able to see what was truly meant for you to see. This clarity, this moment of clarity. And you did so much. And even as you were going through the pain, because you described it, pain in my feet, pain in my legs, my whole body. There's a point where you were like, this type of pain,
I didn't think I was going to finish it.
You didn't think you were going to finish it.
I didn't, and
then
telling
you
everyone,
locked in. Somebody said something to you, and you locked in. Someone out there said, "You got this."
Yes, a family. As I'm contemplating on finishing, a guy pointed to me right as I'm contemplating. Am I going to do this? He pointed to me and said, "You're doing it." And one single tear came out my eye. One tear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
Oof. So now, what you said that you were at the gym.
Yes.
You were training.
Yes.
You only had 2 clients.
Yes. So
how did you build from that to creating this income now?
All right. So remember I said I was in a homeless shelter. For whatever reason, I left the homeless shelter. For whatever reason, it's irrelevant. But I'm able to walk at this time, and I get a job at a gym. I had 2 clients. I don't have a place to live. So what I would do is, with my 2 clients, you don't get paid for being there, you get paid per client. When 10:50 hit, 11 o'clock, the gym closes. When 10:50 hit, I'll run up the stairs, hide, wait for them to close the gym. I would sleep in the gym at 4. I would set my alarm for 4:30. Shower. I would take my cup of coffee, which there's nothing in there. When 5 o'clock came, I act like I'm walking in. Good morning. There's nothing in here. Good morning, Ian. I was there from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. for months. And with me being there, obviously, I have the best physique. And I'm there, and I'm getting more and more clients. I'm grabbing the clients. They're seeing me daily. And I'm getting more and more clients. And from the personal trainer, I became the director of the personal training program.
It just shows you when somebody's motivated, when they want something, when you want something, when you want what you want.
Tell them again.
When you want what you want, you are willing to do the work.
Oh, yeah.
You're willing to do the work that it takes to get to it. And again, it just shows you that addictive, that obsession, that personality, it has positives to it. 100%. So I don't ever want anybody to think that, oh, I have that type of person. It's a negative. No, I had there's an athlete that I know. She
Mhm.
says, because I know I have an addictive personality, she says I have to make the choices to direct it in the right direction.
Look at that.
She makes the choice to direct it, which is what you did.
Yeah.
So now you're there. You've become this gym director.
Hmm.
What is continuing to fuel you? Now you're setting your sights on this London marathon
Hmm.
after doing the New York City marathon.
Hmm.
So, did you find that your training changed? Did you maintain the same training protocol, or what was different this second time around?
All right. So there's different ways to get to the world majors, the six world majors. We have Chicago,
Mhm.
Boston, New York, Tokyo, London, and Berlin. All right. And you have to raise money for a charity. Now, London charity was called Shelter. And shelter is very important to me because
Yeah.
I was homeless. So imagine me walking around asking people to donate money for my charity for the homeless. But my maturity level wasn't as it is now because there's no way I'm going to tell you I'm homeless or I was homeless. Hey, this is for homeless people. I was homeless a few months ago, unknown to you. I'm not that mature. But still, I was able to raise the money for the charity, and that has nothing to do with my flight or my hotel. I raised the money for the charity. I was able to go to London. And as far as training regimen, man, I just said I went for a run today, and I learned something every day.
Mm.
Right now, I'm intaking 350 to 700 milligrams of salt every 30 to 40 minutes. I'm burning 749 calories per hour, so I'm trying my best to put at least 200 calories with my waffle stingers every hour. So I have an alert on my watch. 500 calories, 30 minutes has passed. Um, and I also have a Salomon running vest where I have my bladder and it has a tube and I'm drinking. I also have my body glide for chafing, and this is with trial and error.
Mm.
All right,
That's what I was
so
gonna ask.
the
I'm like,
salt was the cramping, the glide. I was chafing and bleeding my legs, and you learn more and more.
mm,
And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about fitness and health, and I know that's what the show is about. But I need you to take what I'm saying to the aspects of your life other than that. Listen, if you want to be a great actor, act, study, be
yeah,
consistent. If you want to be a better reader, get out there and read. If you want to sell houses, you get under someone who's been doing it for a long time, you listen, and you consistently follow that
that's
person.
right.
With consistency, goals are reached only with consistency.
And the idea of educating yourself,
Oh
because that's
man.
what this platform is about,
Yes.
educating you by exposing you to different athletes, different lifestyles, different stories, so that you are now educated and you're walking into your life with another tool in your belt.
Look at that.
So you're listening to Life Beyond the Finish Line on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Orlandina Ballin, aka The Fitter Woman, and today's guest proves that you can fall hard but rise farther.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about choosing sobriety, ch- chasing marathons, and living high on purpose with Ian Highsmith. So now your mission, running towards a legacy. So tell us about, you were just telling us about the Abbott World
Mhm.
Majors, which is the 6-star medal. That is what you're looking for. How many marathons have you done so far? It looks like you've done 3. So
Correct.
now you are now working for the other 3. And I know there's no
Mhm.
time limit to get these 6 medals. So
Mhm.
how long has it taken you so far just to achieve these 3?
12 months. 12 months.
Wow.
I
Okay.
got sober and I'm hitting. And when I said, just like you said,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
the running community is such a great community. And there's thousands of people pursuing the 6 world majors as well. And when I tell them I had 3, they say, hey, it took me about 5 years. It took me 12 months because I'm gunning.
You're
I'm gunning.
going. You're
This is
going
my
for it.
addictive personality. I'm currently training for the Berlin Marathon, which is September 21st, and my charity is called Whiz Kids. Whiz Kids is a charity for kids. When I say kids, I mean people under the age of 25 who are unable to use their legs. So what we want to do is we want to give them the confidence and equipment to be more independent.
Yeah. I think that's
Whiz
great.
Kids.
Whiz Kids.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. I interviewed an Olympian who lost his sight, and he spoke about how losing his sight was where he really truly found out who he was and what he was about.
I can
So,
imagine.
so you giving these young people an opportunity to run and to be able to be athletes. I've watched programs where you have athletes who have different types of disabilities
Hmm.
and they do extreme sports. So you're giving access to people that may not have had that access. So I really, really, really
Thank you.
applaud you for that. Why did you start the Ian's Running podcast? It sounds like I can see one aspect of you wanting to educate people.
Hmm.
Who is it for, this Ian's Running podcast?
I love when you say Ian's Running Podcast.
Yeah.
Um, I have my website, Ian's Running Podcast at gmail.com. You can get my merch. I have a nice shirt here. Guys, Ian's Running Podcast is for anyone who wants to be entertained and want to find motivation. I made the podcast because when you see me in the streets, when you see me driving my car, when you see me in class, when you see me at work, more than likely I'm going to talk about running. Running saved my life. Hey, all this guy talks about this. It saved my life. And as time passes, I have to say I know quite a bit about running. And if I can entertain,
And it is entertaining.
very entertaining, very
Very
funny.
entertaining.
And you can see where I came from the bottom to now and motivate you. If I can motivate one person, which I think I've done already.
Yeah.
Let's go for one more person to get fit and healthy. My job is done. That's all I need.
And we can see your passion. And this
Yeah.
is what you will see as you tune into Ian's podcast. So, Ian, oh my God, I feel our time is running so short,
Well, our
but
time.
our time is running
What?
short. But Ian, I want to thank you. I really want to truly thank you for being here. And I hope you all take away from what his story is. So, with that being said, be bigger, be fitter, be stronger, be good to this wonderful temple called you. I'm Orlandina Ballin, aka the Fitter Woman, inviting you to join me next time on Life Beyond the Finish Line. We're available wherever you listen to podcasts and always right here on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WH.